Could red corn with a red snake be the best summer bourbon release? Let's see. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways Plus Plus. Today we'll be reviewing Still Austin Red Corn Bourbon Whiskey Bottle and Bond Summer 2023 limited release. I'm super excited to finally see this on my shelf in my area. It is their first release of their Bottle and Bond series with 3 more already on schedule to be released. This is the brainchild of Nancy Fraley, using her outstanding blending experience and working quietly behind the curtain to craft these releases for Still Austin. Still Austin is one of my favorite Texas whiskeys, and I'm hoping this lives up to the hype. Spoiler alert, I've already tried it. The summer 2023 release is represented by this beautiful heat-loving snake and cactus on the label. Still Austin combined the robust nuttiness of Jimmy red corn with sweet spice of rye.
The marble rye?
The result is a summertime bourbon offering creamsicle and black tea scents, followed by a palate of peppermint and marzipan. It is bottled and bond, meaning 50% ABV, 100 proof, aged at least 4 years. Looking at this, it does stick nicely to the glass, with the legs running a little quickly.
Run, Forrest, run!
But it is 4 years. If you are liking these videos, please subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other releases. I have also decided that whenever I review a bourbon, I want to share this experience.
Share.
So leave a comment below for a chance to get a sample. I will randomly draw lucky recipients a week after this video has posted. Now, let's get to the fun part. Let's start tasting this bad boy. So using my standard scoring system, on a scale from 1 to 10, we'll be testing the aromas, the flavors, the complexity, the mouthfeel, the finish, and would I buy again. So let's start on the nose here. So on the nose, you do get some vanilla and oak.
Oak's nice.
A little bit of cracked pepper, but it's funny, I'm actually getting, for lack of a better word, a little bit of kind of pickle.
Pickle makes her sick.
As I swirl this more, I do get a little bit more of that maple syrup and a little bit of fruitiness, kind of like a pear and cherry. And you get that cherryness with a little bit of earthiness to it.
I'm getting an earthy note.
On aroma, from a scale to 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this an 8. So let's go in for that first sip for the flavor. Oh wow, I forget how good this was.
So good.
The initial taste, a little bit of sweetness with a little bit of like toffee note. It's almost like a little bit of a baked goods. There's a little bit of like, you can taste a little bit of sweet corn with nuttiness. I think that's that marzipan that they were talking about, but it does have a little bit of a burn with that cinnamon. So on initial taste, from 0 to 10, I'm gonna give this an 8. Complexity. How does this evolve on the tongue? Wow, I like that sweetness it starts off with. It's a little bit darker and richer now that I have that second taste in my mouth.
That's what she said.
It drinks more than a 4-year bourbon. Even though we don't know how old it is because they don't state it, and we're assuming it's around 4 to 5 years, it tastes more like, you know, something that would be a lot more aged than even like a 6 to 8-year-old. You do have that spiciness as I was talking about earlier, but it is nice and complex on the tongue. I'm gonna say on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm gonna give the complexity a 7. All right, let's go in for that mouthfeel. Now, the mouthfeel is, I like it's interesting because now I'm starting to get that Kentucky hug from that second drink into this third drink. It is pretty thick and viscous on the tongue, but it could be a little bit more, but I think that's because it is a little bit young. But I do taste it, it's nice, I feel oil, I feel like a little bit of oil over the tongue. It's like a dense caramel and nuttiness.
It's a bit nutty.
There is some fruit, and the viscosity doesn't cling to the tongue for very long, but it is there. So for mouthfeel, I'm gonna give it a 6. Now, let's look at that finish. It's such a good tasting one. I really do like this. It's another great one from Still Austin. Now, how does it finish, right? Like I said before, it drinks more than a 4-year-old.
How old are you?
It does have some oakiness and some roastiness to it that you do taste that stays on there. It's still covering the tongue going from the front to the back, and as I said, it's giving me that little, I guess I should say, Texas hug.
Hug time!
And I do like it. So for finish from 0 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 7 because I wish it would stay just a little bit longer, but I think it has to deal with how old it is. Now, the big question, would I buy this again? So I believe this bottle goes between $70 to $80. It is a very limited release. It is kind of young. If you look at it, it does look darker than that 4-year age statement, or what we're assuming between 4 and 5 years. It sticks nicely to the tongue, has a lot of sweetness, goes through a lot of flavors.
Lots of flavors.
Really does do a lot to your tongue for such a limited release. I do like it a lot. So for $70 or $80, I promise you, I am buying this again. I'm probably going tomorrow to buy a second bottle of this to keep it on my shelf, because I think I'm gonna go through this one kind of quickly, because I definitely want to share this with some friends. And I think my friends are really gonna like this. So would I buy it again? Yes, I give that a 9. So adding that all up, I get a 45 out of 60, which I think is very good for a 4-year-old bourbon. I think it's a very good pour, a very good taste, has nice complexity, stays on your tongue just a little bit. Wish it stayed a little bit longer, but that's kind of my biggest gripe about it. But some great complexity and texture in that mouth. Thank you again for joining me on another journey down the bourbon rabbit hole. Don't forget to leave a comment below to have a chance to win a sample of this. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.